157. Мы вторая, 70, 81, 157. Мы третья, 70, 93, 157. Мы четвертая, 70, 86, 157. Мы пятая, 70, 85, 157. Мы шестая.
Well, in this video, we will be talking about indoor environmental quality, its survival, maintenance, and optimization, not long after the 75th anniversary of the D-Day invasion of Normandy, France, which is why we don't speak German or Japanese. My father and his peers were partly responsible for that. Today, schools have a number of problems, mostly from limited budgets and actually, believe it or not, limited use. Churches share many of the same problems because of their limited use as well. They also have a grand limiting effect and problem concerning money, financing, day-to-day budgets, operations, and so forth that all require time and hence money. School districts are of particular importance to most of our viewers because many of them have school-aged children or wish to move into areas with these children that have better schools. Sadly, most people in this situation don't have the questions at hand that need to be asked. And typically, they start with, rather than convenience and school hours and things like that, that might be even on their website for that matter, are asked, answers given, but it doesn't really deal with the situation of schools' limited budgets. Parents need to ask the right questions when choosing a school and a school district to attend or to have their children attend. Those questions will be foreign to the authorities who should have the answers. They start with, where are the data monitoring information, the sheets of results from that monitoring that was done to optimize indoor environmental quality in the school that you represent. This will raise a lot of eyebrows. School district authorities will have no idea about what you're talking about, so you'll have to explain it to them by drawing a picture. Of course, you can make a referral to our website too, where people can go for such answers by clicking on the Schools tab across the top of the screen. That will direct them immediately to the required knowledge base that they need to optimize their children's ability to learn through optimization of the building. These are thoughts that are foreign to most school operators, their janitorial staff, now called building engineers, and of course the people at the top of the school district who've never heard of such questions. We can assist in this endeavor. Merely commenting on this site about your problems or contacting us via the phone as to what to do at the next meeting when they fail to produce what they should have been able to produce at the meeting in which the original questions were asked will give us guidance to make your questions better, stronger, firmer, and more relevant for your particular situation. And don't forget the school's surroundings too. We know of a school in Cuesta, New Mexico, for example, which for the last 30 years has been hammered with the deadly emissions from a molybdenum mine a very short distance, several hundred meters or less, upwind of the building itself. And the system and district facilities and mining operations have changed little from our 30 years of experience of hearing the feedback from these people whose children were so terribly victimized. In fact, the children knew it 30 years ago because they actually went to the mine site and protested. The mine satisfied many of their fears, unfortunately, simply by wetting the ground where the dust was originating. Mining dust, especially dust from hard rock mining, contains all kinds of really bad actors. Mercury, arsenic. This mine was for moly. Expect to see lead. Expect to see all kinds of bad stuff, in addition to fine particulate analysis, which, regardless of its chemical composition, is very, very life-shortening. It will probably destroy many of these students' retirements when they reach that age. They'll probably be like coal miners. But the epidemiology may have been forgotten. What were they exposed to when they were kids that caused their premature demise when they get in their retirement? Steve McQueen, who was said to have been killed by the United States Marine Corps when he was ordered to do asbestos removal as a private, in fact died of mesothelioma many years later, but he never made it to 52. I think he died when he was 50. This is a terrible loss for all of us, as well as Mr. McQueen. School budgets minimize many things, including the things that deteriorate indoor environmental quality. Indoor environmental quality really dictates the quality of education, probably more so than the quality of the teachers that might be reflected by school districts bragging, if you will, about the academic credentials of their teachers and the resulting academic excellence that their students in the past have enjoyed. This is a deception because many of the students will be far more affected by poor indoor environmental quality than those who are not affected. This is a common biological phenomenon when you have such problems in any built environment, and sometimes even in the great outdoors. Problems of indoor environmental quality start with their design and construction. Monies are gathered through bond issues, for example. In the case of churches, it's probably some wealthy donors or possibly some kind of a bond drive there too from people who are the parishioners and so forth that have money and are willing to contribute this to construction of a new building. The bottom line is that when the monies are accrued to create a new facility, that bundle of money, so to speak, is gone when the building is completed and has first opened its doors. At that point, the building is present, the money is not. It's all been spent. This puts constraints on operating budgets that are used day to day and week to week and over the long haul for the life of the structure. These situations cause fundamental problems, starting with a building that was remodeled or built from new that is not working optimally and sometimes not working at all. A good example is a $305 per square foot elementary school in Boulder, Colorado that was LEED Platinum certified and is comprised of a brand new facility with the original building facade still in place. Not long after this building in this very well-off school district was open for use, children started complaining about really bad odors. One 10-year-old was reported to have said, "This building smells like elephant farts." Now, people who know children, not just Dr. Phil, for example, will tell you that when a little kid tells you this, you've got to take note. Well, after months and months of, and over a year of complaining, various government entities got involved and went there with the assumption that if there was something there, they would find it and report it back to the school district and its users. This, of course, what the assessment was conducted, in this case by the Denver Occupational Safety and Health Administration's office, field office. They went there, but lo and behold, they couldn't find anything. Surprise. Well, eventually, they did find problems. The federal government was not really that instrumental in solving these issues. But one of the issues that was designed in this expensive $305 per square foot building was the fact that the pressure in the sewer systems leaving the facility were greater than the pressures inside the building. Now, how can this possibly happen given the cost of the design and construction of such a building? Exposure scientists everywhere, including this one, know not the answer to that question. We can't even generalize or guess on what's going on, but it happened. The building right now is still in use, and there is reason to believe that that building and other buildings in that school district designed by the same architectural firm in Fort Collins, Colorado, has got a real boondoggle on their hands, and potential litigation too. That probably won't happen because the school district will look like fools, and it will take a great deal of resources, which the school district doesn't happen to have, to pursue it in court. So what do we have? We have a whole bunch of students whose optimal living and breathing and studying and learning in schools is not. And the budget to make this redesign needed to happen is not either. So it's not going to happen yet. And it probably won't if they can get by without it. Now, how do they get by with this? School district users don't ask the right questions. The right questions can be found from us at vidocq.pro. There's no login, there's no snooping. We don't track who looks at our site, and it's a static site on top of that. Very low tech. Basically, all buildings have to meet 3 criteria. Those three criteria are that a building must not deteriorate over a period of time due to normal, predictable, well understood day-to-day operations that include maintenance and cleaning. When any of these constraints for indoor environmental quality are not met, an enunciator other than children complaining of something like elephant farts has to be implemented. And what is implemented is called routine testing, monitoring, surveillance, however you want to put it. Day-to-day activities can deteriorate any facility, homes, schools, or workplaces, simply by having the accruement of bad, undetected, originally safe things that might have changed, such as cleaning chemicals, for example, over a period of time that would deteriorate indoor environmental quality. For example, air handling systems that supply makeup air can become heavily contaminated in populated urban areas very easily and quickly, much more so than what designers of the building may have predicted. Monitoring will detect these, as well as proper inspection by people who know. Typically, schools are maintained by janitors who are now called building engineers. This is ludicrous, really, but building engineers, as they're now called, have little respect. They have no budgets from which to command, authorize, or request help from consultants or other knowledgeable people, possibly from other school districts, that could provide the surveillance needed to detect deterioration from normal day-to-day activities that do have such deleterious effects on the learning studying process. Number 2, buildings must be able to deal with predictable short-term changes in the environment. For example, the environment in a school can change due to nearby buildings getting new roofs installed that, for a period of several weeks, if it's a big building, will provide a lot of fumes and other things from outside the school building, conveyed through their air handling systems to the building itself. Again, what will be the enunciator for this, and what will be the solution in the design and use of the building to deal with such short-term, predictable problems? 3, all buildings, homes, schools, and workplaces should be designed to deal with short-term, acute, sometimes catastrophic, and very toxic spills, for example. Things that change very quickly and that are unpredictable. Certain industries developed these techniques for indoor environmental quality control long ago. They're not that expensive either. All of these must be addressed. This is a message directing viewers of these tapes to provide a comment or question under the section below to bring to our attention other questions you may want addressed by this exposure scientist. Greg Marsh, www.vidocq.pro, vidocq.pro. Thank you.